Welcome to the Making of Her Unapologetically, the podcast where real women have real conversation about what it truly takes to become her. I'm your host, the Betty Sase,
And I'm your co host, Trina.
and this here is your space for honest, unfiltered conversations about business, career, motherhood, friendships, identity, and even the topics society doesn't always want us to talk about. We're diving into the pressure, the expectations, the silent struggles, because we know we have a bunch of those, and the bold decisions it takes to really go and rise above anyway. Because becoming her isn't about perfection, it's about truth, it's about growth, right, Trina? And it's about choosing yourself over and over again. Let's get into it.
Shan.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Making of Her Unapologetically podcast. Today, our topic is going to be about women and the old topic of can you do it all? I'm your host, the Betty Sase.
And I am Trina, aka Trinidad, here to talk on this
Is it
age
taboo?
old,
Is it? What is it? Is
age old,
it?
age old, tiring
She
topic.
said tiring.
It's tiring, man, but it's something that has to be discussed. And yeah,
I feel like in one form or another, we're always discussing it, either formally or informally. Um, whether it's your girlfriends, by yourself, reminiscing on how did I get here?
hmm
Um, yeah. So, okay, what I want to kick us off with, why do we women feel like we have to do it all? Let's start with that. She laughs, and I laugh. We laugh in French.
Okay, so I was having a conversation with somebody a long time ago, and I've told you this before, so I'll just reiterate it here. My friend said this, and it kind of like, in layman's term, it poured cold water on me because it encapsulated everything that I feel most women are feeling. She said, was I born? How did she put it again? Let me try. Was I born to do all of this? Because in her own situation, she just felt like if I didn't do it, who will?
So, do you think it's a cultural thing? I can't say societal because the society and culture they go
It's
hand in
not a
hand.
cultural thing. In my own mind, it's not a cultural thing. I might be very, very biased, but put 100 women from different cultures in I'm going to say continuum again, but from any region, any nationality, whatever it is, I can guarantee that 90 something percent
99.9.
would be speaking the same or going on the same tone. So it's not, I personally don't think it's a cultural thing. I might be completely wrong here. You guys let us know.
So, where do you think the pressure is coming from? If it's not a cultural thing, is it self-inflicted? Is it external? Is it a
It's a times
combination?
thing.
A
I feel like it's a
times.
times thing.
In what way?
So right now, and don't get me wrong, we're going towards a place where the other people are doing more. The men out there are doing more. They are. And let's be honest, it's a generational thing. That when I say times, I mean it's a generational thing.
Okay.
Because look back at our parents, right? It wasn't even up for discussion whether, oh, I'm doing too much or whatever the case may be. That was something that was set in stone. But now people are realizing their strengths. People are realizing that, be it marriage, be it dating, be it whatever it is, it's a partnership. It's a companionship, right? It's not just one person doing XYZ and the other person doing ABC. So everybody pitches in. So we are moving in the right direction.
So, when you talk about our parents, do you think it's this generation is more self-aware? Because you made the comment that our parents, our moms, they didn't complain. It wasn't up for
Yeah.
discussion. It was just, it was wired in them. They were born, they, you know, went to school a little bit, but they were trained,
Yeah.
sent to their husband's house, or they met their husband, depending on which part of the world you're in, and they just did it all.
Yep.
They didn't complain. And if you think about it, if you read about a lot of women in history, what is normal to us today to challenge, all right, I shouldn't be doing it all. I
Yep.
should be able to have a career. I should be able to go after my dreams and be in a happy marriage and rear my children and the women who did that back then, they are nowadays considered as thought leaders, barrier breakers of their time. When if you actually take a step back and think, they did, I guess they initiated what I would say is the catalyst for a lot of women today to say, you know what, like, I don't have to do it all. But I'm going back to the question of where does that pressure come from? Because we're in a more self-aware time, but a lot of us are still feeling like we have to do it all.
As women, I will be honest, and I'm not trying to be mean to any other person out there. The pressure comes from us. It comes from within, but it's ingrained in who women are in general. Let's think about it for a second. Like
it's in our DNA.
It's in our DNA to do so much. It's in our DNA to be better. It's in our DNA to want the world and fight as hard as we can to get it, right? So,
okay,
not in a bad way. When you ask the question, like, who's causing this for us? Like, what's making us feel like this pressure? Where is this pressure coming from? It's coming from us.
right?
But again, I go back to, if we don't give ourselves this pressure, if we do not push, who will?
Society. Let me, okay.
Where has society ever done something that is like, hey girl, I got you?
So no, the reason why I say that is because you're 100% correct. It is self-inflicted pressures, right? But then that's why I said you cannot take out the cultural aspect of it, because you can stand as a woman and say, let's not kid ourselves, where we come from. You can stand as a woman and say, this is not my job. I don't have to do it. You'll have the in-laws. You'll have, the people, the friends down the road who believe in this mindset. You'll have the nosy neighbor. You'll have this, that, Tom, Dick, and Harry hinting, giving you side eye, or just blatantly and very boldly saying, but you're a woman, right? How many times have we heard that where we come from? But you're a woman. But you're a wife.
I've stopped hearing.
But you're a mother. But do you know what I'm saying? It's self-inflicted, and that's why I feel like the conversation of can you do it all? I feel like it's subjective, because my all might be different from your all.
Absolutely.
Right? I can do it all with help. There are many women who think doing it all is suffering the burden on their own. Both of us are still doing it all, right? And I think it comes to the point of, I can do it all, but I need to give myself permission to do it all my way.
Explain further. Let me get this now.
I'm all about therapy. I believe in therapy. Pay somebody to tell them your problems, because you're not doing good on your own. And so I remember when I started my journey, my therapist looked at me. She said, have you given yourself permission to refill your cup? And instantly I said to her, and I know you believe in filling your cup, that like to the brim, we're overflowing. Like, you don't. I had to get there. And so that's why I say your version, or any woman's version of doing it all, looks very different per the woman.
Okay.
And so she looked at me and she said, have you given yourself permission to refill your cup? And the instant response was, but. And I started listing all of the reasons why I don't have time to fill my cup. My kids need me. This. I need to do this in the household. I have work. I'm a career woman. I'm this. I'm that. I have my entrepreneurial aspirations. I have to do this for the business. I have to do this. Like, laundry list of things. And then she looked at me and she goes, okay, but are you showing up to every single one of those at your best? And what is the results that you're getting? That is
a very, very good point.
And I was like, first of all, don't talk to me like that.
Don't talk to me like that. You're paying her to talk to you like that. What are you talking about?
Second of all, girl, you're right. And so I had to grow to that space of, I am giving myself permission to do it all my way. You know that my mom lives nearby to our home. And sometimes I used to feel guilty to drop the boys off at her house. Forgetting that, first of all, grandparents, that's all,
Well,
the start and end of that
mm-hmm,
conversation.
mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, but she's already raised her kids. Again, the excuses. And now I take the initiative to, I still work a lot and you get on me about that, but I take the initiative more now to allow myself to do it all my way, you
That's
know? And again, coming from where we're from, and I know things are changing, but very slowly. Not here in the West, back home. You go to work as a wife, you come home, you cook dinner, you do this, you do that. Point, do you ask your partner for help? At what point do you ask your husband, the family? You're supposed to just do it all, right? That's your job. That's your role. And so I also had to step into that place. And this is, I guess this can also bring in the conversation of nature versus nurture. I grew up in Canada, but I have this mentality of it's my job and I had to work to the place to feel comfortable with my husband for help, to pass the baton to him. He's already doing some stuff, a lot of stuff, right? But for the days where I'm just so overwhelmed and I can't tell my left from my right, to just take a second and say, can you cook? Can you do this?
Yeah.
Can you do that? And actually give him a list of things to do and be at peace and go lay down and lift my feet up because I have done a lot for the day. I had to grow to that space. Now, let's not discount the fact that two things. You can have single parents, single mothers who have a lot of support and they're doing it all with all that support. And you can have married or common law or whatever situation
Okay.
who are like the typical definition of a single parent. I'm not blind to that.
Okay.
Right? There's a lot of single married women. We understand that. And so there's that pressure as well of I have to
Yeah, I was
do
gonna get to that, but continue.
I
Yeah.
have to do it all on my own. And part of again doing it all my way is giving myself permission to say, you know what, even if I don't have this assistance here, my life has not ended because I had kids. I'm going to rearrange my plan, bring my kids along, right? Our mutual friend, the lovely, lovely Kim who introduced us. That girl
She's gonna
is a
see this.
case. She needs to be a study case on how to do it all your way. Like I was here thinking, because I became a mom before her. I was here thinking, oh, when they have their first kid, they're gonna slow down. They're gonna this. You remember the other day when I was looking for someone to take those tickets for me?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I call her. I'm thinking, oh yeah, she'll be able to take her son, do this. I was like, oh hey, what are you doing? She's like, I'm just dropping off our son at my mom's house. I want to go hang out for the day. I said, what? Like she needs to be a study case on how doing it all your way can be successful.
So going back to the question, can you do it all? I think regardless, and again, I'm not trying to disregard everybody's situation, but that question starts from, like you said, internal. It's an internal question you have to answer because no matter what situation you're in, you first have to ask yourself, can I do it all? For me, Trina, I've answered that question where I know I can do it all. Like every other thing out there is noise. If I've told myself I can do it, I can do it. I would rather screw up on the journey and know that I've screwed up. But my answer to that question, can you do it all? 1,010%. I can do it all. Now, with what you're talking about, for instance, talking about Kim or whoever it is out there, those people have answered that question already and said, I can do it all. And then they're now building systems. Same as you now. You've decided you can do it all. And now you're looking for what support makes it happen. Back to you saying, what is my way
of doing it all?
Of doing it all. So to answer the question again, can you do it all? That's every woman out there has to answer that question and figure out if she wants to or if she's willing to. And then you start looking around you and saying, this is what's going to help me do it all. And this is what's going to help me do it all. And we go from there.
1,000%. And so going back to the comment you made about building your system. So part of me getting to that space of doing it all, I had to look at, so I don't know if you've heard people have these conversations of single women asking, where do I meet a certain caliber of man? And the advice is always go where they hang out, right? You can't want a businessman, a CEO, whatever, and you're going to the club I mean, no shade to people who are going to club. They're probably
I mean, maybe the
they're
business
probably at
tycoon.
yacht parties. They're probably, at like
But maybe the business tycoon wants to blow off some steam and
at
is in
the
the
club
club. Yeah.
with
Like,
18-year-olds.
hey, do what you gotta do.
Maybe. Probably not. He's probably at a yacht party, probably on a private jet, probably at like some exclusive club, right? I and they say that's kind of like the old school, like the old boys kind of way of approaching things. I think that is such a beautiful way. Going back to the systems, if I want to be a woman that does it all, I need to now put myself in places and spaces and in positions that will help me build a good system. Because you can have a really terrible system. So, for example, our friendship. I look at you and I'm like, okay, she is business minded. She's a go getter. She's A, B, C, D. Go on.
Well, thank you though, by the way. I didn't say that, but thank you.
I'm talking about myself. But so I have some of those qualities. And let's say that you had some qualities I aspire to,
Okay.
right? I am now going to glean off of you and say, all right, I have these things. These are other types of systems I want to build. I see Trina has these things I want to learn. Growth by proximity, growth
Yep.
by association.
Absolutely.
So just like how the single woman, if you want to meet, whatever, you go to a car show, I don't know, maybe. I'm going to be in spaces.
Girl, I've been out of the game for so long. I'm like, so you could do that.
I've been seeing these things online. Apparently, it's a trend recently. Women are asking, "How do I?"
Okay, okay.
Conversation. I've been out of the game too, but I take that idea. I'm like, and apply it to this scenario. All right, I want to launch a business and grow it to X
Okay.
amount. I'm going to now put myself in spaces of where there are women who are doing that, right? You know the saying of if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Absolutely.
If I want to be a mother that does it all, a wife that does it all, a businesswoman, career woman, whatever that does it all, I want to be in a space of other women who are doing what I am aspiring to do.
So I want to take a moment here because, anybody who's watching this now would be like, what's the tip here we're giving? I think, first of all, and this might sound very cliche, I beg just with everything I say here, just like take it with a grain of salt. I think, first of all, tip number one would be just your mind shift with, can you do it all? And that's what I said before about asking yourself internally. Your mind shift, it has to be you, how do I say it now, vibrating that, if that makes sense. I know that sounds very, very
And
ill.
you have to exude it. You have, when something
You have
is
to
so-
believe that
Yeah.
you're going to be able to do everything. Number one. Number two, with the access to social media that you have right now and putting yourself in the right places and things like that, it's a matter of opening up a new account on whatever platform you want to and surrounding yourself. And the reason I say this, and I'll give a simple example, a couple of years back, I had no clue about investing. Nothing. I was like, well, I can't swear on this, but this other Instagram account I had, it was just filled with all these influencers,
FYP page.
just beauty influencers. And I was like, okay, this needs to stop because I have nothing, no sort of value from it. What did I do? I opened up a new Instagram page. Every single Canadian and American investor, it's just night and day. So tip number one, mindset shift. Tip number two, surround yourself, even if it's virtually, with people who have that same mindset. It's crazy how that changes for you. And those are the two tips I have on that one.
Oh, 1,000%. And one important thing that you said is you followed both Canadian and American. And the reason why I highlight that is because I've spoken to people where sometimes it takes us a minute, or it can take people a minute to digest that things are done differently. You can't see somebody that has certain results and get so fixated on that and try to replicate that and not know if that even works with your environment, your systems, your government, etc. So that's another key thing. I'm a virtual girly, work from home. I love canceled plans because listen, I got to put my wig on. I can go to bed early. I love a cancel plan. I say that though to also say it is important to network. It
Yes.
is so good to have the virtual connections, the this, the that. But sometimes, again, talking about proximity, it's nice to get up. And this is something I had to recently start doing. I actually started searching for, if it's business networking events happening in my
Oh,
city,
girl, okay.
right?
That's a good
Investment
that's a good one. That's a very good one.
because a lot of us can get so fixated on what's happening on our screens.
Yeah, by the way,
Um,
there's a with this discussion we need to have about another business, but let's continue with this, girl, because we can do it all.
we can do it all.
Even in the middle of this conversation,
We'll
there's
have that
another
chat.
business.
But, forgetting that in our own city, there's things happening. And yeah, it's nice to see what's out there, what other people are doing,
Mm.
but look locally. What we
Power of
don't
information.
exactly what we don't realize is that there are so many resources happening around
Absolutely.
us. I've asked you about, investment tips. And even just when I took a step back and I looked around, even within my church community, there are people who are hosting events, the types of events that I'm interested in. I'm like, why didn't I know about this? But I made up my mind and I gave myself permission to say, you know what, I am going to do this and do it all. But one thing I want to shift a little bit too, you said this earlier. You're like, I want to do things, or I'm going to do things. I might not be good at it, something to that effect. So, what I want to ask is, have you ever felt like you were failing,
1,000%. 1,000%.
even when you were doing your best and other people were telling you you're doing your
Heck
best?
yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. I like this might make me a little bit emotional, but I'm gonna stick to my guns here and just not. But
Your thing.
but um growing up, it was, and this is a personal experience, but growing up, there was so much comparison in my family.
Well, that's an
So
African
much.
thing.
Yeah, but you see, the problem is, and this is a problem, and this is something I'm trying to shift for my kids, is I don't want to put that with them as they grow, because you always find yourself comparing yourself to the next person. And it's a constant work. It's constant work. You think you have overcome it. You're not comparing yourself with anybody. And just at work, you're like, man, that person is doing really well. Why can't I do as well as that person? But you grew up with that. And we call it healthy competition. No, sometimes it's more than healthy competition. So sometimes I feel like I'm failing, to answer your question. And it's just from overthinking about what the next person is doing. And
Your own.
it's all about hills and valleys. That's my valley, where I'm comparing myself to another person. My hill is saying, Trina, you're doing okay. You are doing okay. Your race and that person's race. And it sounds so cliche, but it's so, so true. And when you keep on repeating that to yourself, yes, you might have those glimpses of I'm failing, but they become smaller and smaller, because you then look and be like, I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
I'm on my own journey. I'm doing my own thing. And you have to just keep on checking back what your milestones are, no matter how small they are. Look back and see. And yeah, that's just it. One of my businesses, and told Betty about this. One of the business I'm running right now. First month, I did $300. First month. Um
Where there are some people, first year, they make $0.
um my best month, how many, I don't even know how many X's at this point, like 10,000,
Yeah.
10,000 XO. No, 1,000, no. 1,000X? I think
I see the
1,000X.
engineer between two of us.
Yeah, so like,
No math.
but the thing about it is that sometimes I find myself looking at other people and I go, man, that person is doing 7 figures.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Trina,
Yeah.
look back at where you started from. You did $300 in your first month and you're doing this much. What are we talking about? And that's what I've noticed. The more I reevaluate and look at myself and say, first month was this month is this, you're doing okay.
But you have to be intentional about that. You have to step aside from yourself and take a look at the whole picture and say, I've come far. I
Yes.
started here, I'm here, and this is where I can go to.
What about you? Do you ever feel like you're failing?
I feel like the answer is yes. But I think my failing is more in my personal life.
Okay.
Every now and again, I get that little blip of career wise. I think I said this to you. Yeah, I think it was you I was having a conversation with once where I'd mentioned to you, I was like, how did I say it? I said how I noticed certain people within the organizations were getting so many recognition. Do you remember that conversation we were having that one day? And I said, but I'm here busting my butt off. I'm getting, a lot of complex projects and nobody is, oh my God, like, oh, Betty did this. And I think I said that to you one day. And I said, I was like, I don't know why I even care because you know what my plans are, right? So why do I care about this? And I
You're
said that. I
human.
said those were, and that's what you said to me. And so, in terms of have I ever felt like I was failing, even though I was doing my best? Yes, there's that experience career wise, but I feel like I experienced it more in my personal life with my kids.
Mm.
And the reason why I say
Talk
that,
about it.
you know how a lot of times they say the way you grew up can really shape the kind of parent you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Not to go too into it, but in terms of just the way my childhood was, I took a step back and I examined everything and I was very specific and strategic about how I wanted to raise my kids.
100%. That makes sense.
And anytime I feel like I'm slipping a little bit into everything I did not want to do, it brings up these emotions. It brings up these like, oh my
I
God,
see
I've
you.
screwed everything up. And there's something that has to be said about moms with boys. The day, like my worst days where I'm so down on myself, I'm beating myself up, I'll just stop. And I'm not an emotional person, but you see those kids that can have make a tear or two come down. And I just sit in like a little corner and I start crying.
Yeah.
That is when my son will come to me and no one is instructing him. No one's pushing him. And he just hugs me and goes, do you know that you're the best mom ever? And I'm like, "Oop." Without fail.
That's
And I'm like,
best mom ever.
right? He goes, yeah, you're the best mom ever. And he'll call my mom sometimes and be like, do you know she's the best mom ever? And mom's like, yeah, I know. She's
And
my
in that
daughter.
moment, you're feeling like you're failed.
And in that, no, when I'm feeling like I'm failing is when they'll come and just hug me and love upon me and give me words of affirmation. And it's a feeling. And again, maybe it's, one reason attached to another, but I feel like in terms of feeling the failure,
Yeah.
I don't often feel that career or business wise.
Oh,
That's why I'm saying for me, it's more personal. And the reason why I say I don't feel that career business wise, because I know what I have in me. I know what I'm capable of.
okay.
I have set this as my goal. I know the person I am. I will do whatever it takes to get there.
There.
I am going to get there. Right? What my freedom number, what my, good life number is different from somebody else's. What my free life looks like is different from somebody else. We were having a conversation the other day where I was mentioning, I'm like, oh yeah, a bigger house would be nice. You're like, oh, I just want to take more trips. Right? But that's freedom for both of us.
Absolutely.
That looks different, right? So I'm not going to say to myself, oh my God, my business is not growing as fast as hers, this and that. Because I have made up my mind that I'm going to do this. Creating generational wealth for my children is very important to me, and ensuring that I structure it to where their children's children can benefit from it, doing what I need to do to make sure, as close as I can, to make that a reality. It will happen.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's why, again, I'm human. There might be little blips here and there, but it's very hard for me to feel like I am failing career and business wise.
Okay.
And so a lot of those feelings is more personal life.
Interesting. I'm a mom of two, so not that I don't feel like I'm failing them because I'm pretty sure.
Like, I'll do my best. Let me rest.
No, it's not. It's not. How do I say? It's something that works hand in hand with being a mom. So when I talk about business, my goal in life, I keep on telling my husband this. My goal in life is this: my little two kids, hubby and me. The goal is for us to ball, like
Just ball out.
like ball out, like that's and
Yeah.
I want to do it for them. Not
Mhm.
like I had a good upbringing. We traveled, all that stuff. But my goal is like that is something that will give me the highest peace. Is
Mhm.
like they're doing okay, and they're doing okay based on the works of my hand. So that's what ties the whole business thing back in there. In terms of like just failing as a like if I ever feel like I'm failing as a mom, I have my moments. Not
Yeah.
even gonna lie. I have my moments probably every day when I lose my shit and I'm like, Trina,
You
you need to
find your
calm
volume
down.
just
You need to be more compassionate. You need to be more this. Do gentle parenting, though. I cannot. I give like you know what? I do gentle parenting, but it's like
when the kids are
number one,
gentle.
number two. After number three, I'm like, we need to
At
go
this
back
point,
to
you
the
know what you're
African
doing.
parenting right now. It's enough.
Yeah.
We've tried it. It didn't work. Let's move on. Yeah, just like I do feel like I'm failing sometimes as a mom. 100% transparency. I do. But it's in certain moments. But like you said, I think the children find a way to reassure you
Yeah.
with that gentleness, that purest of love and
Yeah.
things like that.
And they don't even know they're
They
doing that.
don't know
They're
they're
just
doing
speaking
that.
from the heart.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I do feel on both fronts over and over again, but
Mhm.
we move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We move.
I don't know. What else?
And it's interesting you said you had a good upbringing, you traveled, etc., and you're trying to create that freedom for your family.
Mm-hmm.
Again, talking about proximity, I remember this is before I started having kids, and I don't know why this is so distinct in my mind.
Hmm.
I was at a friend's, gosh, I was young. I was probably 19, 20.
Okay.
I was at a friend's sister's house for Christmas. My
Okay.
family had traveled and I couldn't travel that time. I was still in school. Yeah, I had like finals around that time.
Okay.
And so I spent Christmas with their family. And her sister is an attorney,
Okay.
very successful.
Okay.
Like I'm talking clients, like very successful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Clients of my phone. My phone's makers, her clients, successful. And I remember we're sitting in the kitchen and her son comes to her. And let me preface this by saying she brought herself a long way. She was a
Okay.
single mother, put herself through law school, met her future husband while they were either at the firm or while they, so I can't remember,
Okay.
but elevated herself in life.
Okay.
Right. And so talking about creating a good life for your children,
Mm-hmm.
right? Single mother living off of basically nothing with her child by her hip. And now she's in this, multi-million dollar home. They're always vacationing in freaking south of France, like night and day. And I remember we're sitting in the kitchen and her child comes to her and goes, "Hey, mom, can I take the car?" She goes, "Yeah, just take the Jaguar." And her son goes, "Oh, which one?" There are a few people there and we all just turned and went, "Which one?" And and I hadn't started having kids at that yet.
Mm.
And I was like, and the reason why it took me back a little bit, I know her story. I know
Mm.
where she came from. So the statement you made of you want to be able to create the best life ever,
Absolutely.
I just had a flashback of
That
that
is the why of my
experience,
life. That is the
right?
why of my life.
I'm not saying that material things is the best life ever, but for her to be able to afford that option, seeing where she has come from, I think that itself was the admirable part for me,
Good. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
I'm gonna ask a question. Um, Tying back to the subject of our conversation today as to whether you can do it all.
Hmm.
Was there, how do I say this now? Do you ever think you would have answered no to that question pre-kids versus post-kids? I know my answer already, but I wanted to ask, like, if we were to rewind back to you didn't have kids, all
Hmm.
that stuff, and somebody said, "Can you really do it all?"
Yeah.
You would still answer
Yeah.
that? Okay.
So
Yeah,
I
go
would
ahead.
answer yes pre kids.
Okay.
First few years of my first kid's life, the answer would have been no. Remember, I had to get to the space to allow myself to give myself permission,
Okay. 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 Okay.
right? So pre-kids, yeah. And to be honest, I always say that, you know how they say if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans.
Yeah.
Anybody who knew me back then knew that kids, marriage, like I was getting ready to live the nomadic lifestyle. I was not this hot career woman. I was just looking to, can I waitress to get a little bit of money? buy a plane ticket to backpack across Europe. That was like, I didn't have,
That's a good dream. Not gonna lie. Yeah, but continue. Yeah.
right? And interesting enough, having my first child really unlocked how they say sometimes, how they say that sometimes when you're in a mess, that's when you realize what truly you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
That's when you
Yeah.
realize what life truly is supposed to be
Yeah.
for you,
Yeah.
right? They say God turns your mess into a message. And so, somebody that's sworn off all these things, I realized that bringing these external factors into what I wanted to be or what I wanted to do with my life allowed me to actually shift into what I'm actually supposed to be doing.
Mm. It's like for me, to answer the question of can you do it all, I feel like it became so much stronger. Like
Mhm.
it felt like a switch went off in my head.
Yeah.
Immediately I became a mom. Like
Yeah.
I wanted to do it all, but I was like, I'll be
I'll
chilling.
get there when I get
I'll
there.
be having some fun. I'll be having some drinks,
Maybe over there later.
Long weekend here. I was not intentional about it for
Mhm.
the longest of time.
Yeah.
I definitely felt that switch go off once I became a mom. Like, I did not care because I was like,
It's
this child,
necessary.
you see this baby God
Mhm.
has given me,
Mhm.
it's got to work. It's got to work. And I can do it all because it's got to work out for her.
Mhm.
Well, that was for her. Now I have two. So it's got to work for
It's gotta work
her,
out for
both of
them.
them. So, I definitely, I think most women probably, and yeah, back to your point, Joe, about can you do it all? Because one thing you said now that actually resonated was we all have the season when that yes comes up. Probably will in every woman's life. I feel like at some point you get to say, I can do it all. But is it the season yet? Like, have you reached that season where it goes from a no to a yes? And yeah, like that comment you were making about like, okay, after talking to your therapist,
Mhm.
all that stuff, refilling your cup, all of that stuff, then you started realizing,
And the season has to hit. You know, Listen, let me preface by saying, me, I'm Jesus' girlfriend. I love me some God. And one thing I'll say is the grace has to be there because you can say, yeah, 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 I want to do this, I want to do that. If there's not a level of grace that's there guiding you, you will do nothing. How many of us have a project that we've been saying we want to do forever? Have we actually touched it?
I have a couple running right now.
But when and
Yeah, a couple
well,
running.
talking about season,
Yeah.
right? Saying because in the Bible, there's so many different seasons that take place,
Yeah.
right? And so it has to be the right season for it to actually,
Absolutely.
right? And so that's why I say they go hand in hand. Because right now, where I am mentally in terms of, all right, what can I do or what can I create that's sustainable for my children? Recently, that's something we've really, aligned with. What can we do that's sustainable that will be beyond us that our children can take and go
Run with.
and run with,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
And I feel like that's the season for right now. You even laugh. Sometimes you wake up, you're like, Betsy, what were you doing at 2 o'clock? I said, my dear, I was walking.
yeah. Yeah.
Right? Because this is the season, the grace is there, and I have to, where I come from, they say, when the iron is hot, that's when you
Yeah,
strike it.
absolutely.
Right. So my question for you then, Trina, is talking about doing it all, blah, blah, blah. I want to shift a little bit. What does balance actually look like in doing it all? Because we can do it all and run ourselves to the ground, but there's a smart way to do it all. What does that look like for you in your real life?
That's where the systems come in. That's where the system come in. And for me, I'm a gung ho person, if that's the right way to even say it. Like when I'm passionate about something, I go 1,010%. When I go and let me even be completely transparent here. After I had my daughter, the first business venture I got into, I don't care what anybody says. Marketing is BS. I'm sorry. Actually, you guys are not expecting that from me. After
Don't you
having
love
my
the friend from high school you haven't spoken to in a billion years?
I
Long
don't
time. I
want
want to
to.
check on you.
Network marketing is one of the most, and don't get me wrong, people are making bank from it. But after having my daughter, and being so strong, I felt strongly I needed to do something. I don't know how things aligned, and a friend of mine reached out to me, and it was gray area once I got in there. But going back to your question about balance, for me, certain ways I find balance is I will go full blown on something, give it a year. That's my minimum. Give it a year. Reevaluate. Reevaluation is where I find my balance. Okay. And also feedback. I mean, my husband can come over and talk to me and say, hey, this thing you're doing right now,
it makes sense.
this is what I'm seeing as an outside person looking in. That again goes back to reevaluation. And the last part, honestly, is just kind of figuring it out as you go along, like for me. So to answer your question for balance, I give it time and I do reevaluation and see, is it making sense? Then the last one, to bring it tied all together, what systems can I put in place to give me that balance I need? There was somebody, and everybody knows this guy now. What's his name now? Oh, is it Jerry? No, something Gives. There's a guy I follow on YouTube.
Gary V.
Yeah, Gary V, exactly. Yes. Everybody knows him. He curses a lot. I love him till death. Very passionate. But what I like about him is you need to start understanding your value of time. What is time? What is the value of time to you?
Yeah.
So, as a mom, as an engineer, as a side hustler who's trying to do 1,001 different businesses at the same time, what systems can I put in place to make it work for me? Does that mean that during the summer, instead of my husband does the lawn care and everything, but he also coaches tennis as well too. So one thing we sat down and realized was he's coaching during the summer for tennis. He doesn't have time to take care of our lawn. So we get somebody to take care of it.
Yeah, he pays.
Same thing with house cleaning and stuff like that. We do need deep cleaning every month. Is it valuable for me to come back from work of 98 hours? Do you know what I mean? And start
That
cleaning, deep cleaning.
That one day.
That's the balance where I'm going to run myself completely off the rails. If I say I'm going to work 8 hours, I'm going to come back home, I'm going to start cleaning. What systems can I put in place to give myself balance? And like your own comment now about your mom, your mom taking the kids for a couple of hours. That's giving you days. That's giving you balance. So for me, I give things time, I reevaluate, and I find systems. Those are the 3 ways I try and make my balance make sense for me. What about you?
Mine's actually quite similar to yours. And again, I had to grow to that. Before I say mine, what does your evaluation look like?
Just self-reflection, honestly. My quiet time.
What I mean is, are there yardsticks? And I understand that whatever yardstick you have for one business might be different for another. Whatever yardstick you have for a home situation might be different from.
I think you're right. With each one, it's very, very different. I'll give you an example. The network marketing I got myself into.
I got myself into.
It just my level of or my reevaluation of that was one day one person got a lead, and when I say a lead, somebody signed under their, I want to call it umbrella. And this is 20 of us in the same group, and all 20 people started posting on Facebook, I got a lead. I was like, so I looked at myself. This is my reevaluation. First thing I was like, what kind of gray area am I living in? So that was one for me. Hang on. The second one was morality wise. I was like, this is hitting my moral compass in a very, very bad way. Because for me, not that I'm, holier than thou or anything, but I try to stay on the right path. So morally, I was like, 1 year, okay, this is not hitting.
Yeah.
Moral compass, it's not working.
Yeah.
No pay, no nothing. Like,
yeah.
In 1 year of doing the business, I think I made $50 from the whole thing.
There's some people who make nothing.
So again, those were my yardsticks for that. Yeah. And after that, I was like, see you later. I'm done. Nothing else. So every single thing you put your hand to, I think the yardsticks would definitely be different.
Yeah. Well, mine are similar to yours. So balance for me, again, I step back and say, is this thing I'm doing, does it make sense?
Yeah.
And you know how they say that we'll ask for advice from people to either reassure us on an answer we've already convinced ourselves of?
Okay. Okay. Okay.
You know how sometimes you can advise somebody and say, this thing doesn't make sense, it's a bad idea,
Yeah.
but their blinders and what they've convinced
Can't do
themselves
nothing
of,
about it.
you cannot, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my reevaluation has to be similar to what you said, sitting with myself, right? And say, does this thing I'm doing make sense? Is it taking away from me or refilling my cup to the brim?
Absolutely.
Is it and refilling my cup to the brim does not mean I'm going to have a rosy life. I'm going to do this. Launching a business. You're going those first years, because they say a lot of new businesses fail within the first 5 years. That's what I'm saying. Those first years are hard years. They're grinding years. They're years that are going to require a lot of you. But even in requiring a lot of you, there are systems you can put in place that, all right, I'm moving this in the right direction. And sometimes it's not necessarily a
Progress.
dollar amount. It's just, and progress looks different, right? But we need to have that upwards trajectory. So balance is, yeah, similar to you. This thing I'm doing, is it making sense? I don't know if I have I don't know if I've time boxed it, because you know how you said for you it's
That
a
one,
year?
yeah, that one was, I was seeing the red light, sort of saying, stop, stop, stop. I was like, no, 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 I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I want to go there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was why that was 1 year for me.
Mhm.
And like you said, there wasn't progress, but I interrupt,
No, no,
continue.
you're good. So that's something similar I do. I take a step back and say, all right, this thing doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Admittedly, balance in terms of home life. Because again, I feel like I've shifted into this space where I have mastered externally and I'm still
I'm not
mastering
yet there.
internally,
Okay.
which is wild, right? Like in terms of my friends, you always tell me I work too much, I this, I that. But it's because right now, again, that season is there for me. So I'm pouring my all, but I have my systems in place, even as I'm pouring my all in terms of home life. And I think maybe that's where my type A-ness comes in and I need to stop it. Hiring cleaners to deep clean. Absolutely. I agree. But I have friends who have complained about it wasn't properly done. So then I'm like, listen, I am too old and too busy to be dating cleaning companies. Let me just do it myself. Again, like I said, I have now mastered inside the home in certain aspects. In
Interesting.
terms of the lawn care, yeah, I pay someone to do that.
Okay.
My husband has capacity to take care of things around the
Mm-hmm.
house, right? But if something is like a very heavy project, we will outsource some of it.
Okay.
In terms of balance, summertime, our eldest is home from school, our youngest still goes, can go to childcare.
Mm.
But then balance is taking time off of work when they're available and going on trips and, doing things. I swear my eldest thinks we're like multimillionaires. He likes to bring a map or just call places he's heard of and say, oh, yeah, we should go here next. I'm like, oh, yeah. And we joke with him. We're like, who's going to pay for it? He's like, well, you have all the money. And I'm like, in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen. Right? And like, funny story. Speaking of going places, I'll never forget a trip we took. He was a little bit younger. We get on the plane. We weren't in first class, but we weren't that far back.
Mm-hmm.
This child gets on the plane and sits in row one. He's like, oh, this looks good. Sits down. And the person who had that seat came and was like, oh, are you like, should I give up my seat to you? He's like, yeah, I think this is comfortable. Long story short, the guy was going to give it to us, but the guy decided, of course, my young child needs somebody to sit with him. The guy decided he wasn't feeling so generous. But anyway, in terms of balance, that's what we do. We'll take trips, right? And sometimes we'll let them pick a place they want, where they think we should go. It's always to visit family either in the States or somewhere within the city. So that's
Mm-hmm.
balance for me because while they're in school, I realize that I can pour so much into work, into business, into etc. because everybody's so busy,
Yeah.
there's extra activities they're doing. This person has this person has that. But summertime, that's a non-negotiable for me. That is balance. Another form of balance is self-care.
Yes.
We talk
100%.
about that a lot. That has become a non-negotiable for me. Kind of tying
Yeah.
it back into can you do it all? I think part of the answer of yes is making myself a priority as a non negotiable, because it's so easy for us to make excuses and give reasons as to why we cannot take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
So, balance for me is sticking to my non negotiable of prioritizing myself and my
100%.
self
Yeah.
care.
Yeah.
So, that's what balance in my real life looks like these days.
That's really good. That's personal like readjustment or recalibration, so to speak. Yeah. No, that's awesome. No, me, I honest life on the question. Like it's
Yeah,
not
we
even
know.
that's like I don't mess with my anybody that
Sometimes when I want to plan with you, I'm like, Trina, I'm like, you have Fridays to yourself, right?
I don't like the one thing about me, this like Friday nights are my nights. Go after work, go to the gym, do like 2 classes, go into the sauna. Afterwards, if there's a good massage place open, go for my massage and I knock off the day. That's it. So that's a non-negotiable. Like it's not even part of the rebalancing plan because it's a staple of
Yeah.
the regular plan. So
Mhm.
no, that's really good. Wrapping it up
Yeah.
here, I guess we would say we would love to hear whether you've reached that point or whether you can even answer yes to the question, can you do it all? Um, I'd love to know whether you're in that season, you're not yet there, you're there. What does balance look like for you? How is failure? How do you think you failed? Do you have places where you think you failed? All that good stuff. Join the conversation. We would like to chat about it with you guys. We're signing off here. Trina signing off and
The Betty Sisse signing off. I need to make a t-shirt for that. Join the conversation. We'd love to hear from you. And as always, as you are working on becoming her unapologetically, join us in the conversation. Let us know. As I say, if what we're saying makes sense, let us know why it makes sense. If it's utter rubbish, let us know why.
please let us know.
Let us know. Join the conversation. And is there things you want to hear us talk about? Let us know what those topics are as well.
Oh, that'd be good. Yeah.
But until next time,
See ya.
see ya.